Talking of losing it, looks like Manchester City might well end up losing Pep Guardiola in just 2 years' time. Back pages of all the papers today carrying the story that Pep Guardiola is ready to quit Manchester City when his contract expires in 2023. Apparently, did this during an interview with a Brazilian TV station. He said, after 7 years at City, I think I'll need a break, stop for a while. You'll remember that he signed a recent new 2-year extension to his contract back in November. He went on to talk about what he would do in the aftermath. He said, I would like to coach a national team, South American or European, play Euros, play a World Cup, a Copa America. I want this experience. A national team will be the next stop. Yes, if there is a possibility to do so. I mean, it never ever seems to be a good idea for a manager to announce his departure date, Ali.
Correct, 100%. Why would you? I mean, you're on the risk of complacency amongst players, fans saying, oh, we're all getting rid of him now after the first bad result, all that kind of stuff. Listen, I'm all for people having plans and dreams and hopes, but sometimes, particularly in a manager or head coach's position, it's better keeping them to yourself.
But also the other problem is if Manchester City are trying to organise the signing of a major star going forward, I mean, the idea of Pep Guardiola being there is a major attraction. If he's not going to be there, it won't be.
That's 100% correct. I mean, how do you attract players and say, listen, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, do the next thing, but unfortunately I'll be manager of Chile. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I'll be watching it from Santiago. I wish you all the best in the Champions League. However, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense, Sam.
I can see managing Brazil though. How good would that be? Guardiola down the line, the manager of Brazil. It'd
be pretty good for Brazil. I don't think it'd be too good for Manchester City. I think, going forward.
Realistically, do we all believe this would be his last contract though? You kind of, but I get about the players
still going there because it's the longest time he's ever been at a club.
Are players going there for Pep, or are they going there because they are a team that are going to win trophies? There's other great players there, and they are a team that are going to pay you massive wages.
I think it's quite frustrating for Manchester City because I think last season the accusation is that actually because people thought that he might leave at the end of last season, they'd sort of just taken their foot off the gas a little bit. He signed his new contract in November. All of a sudden they scooted to the top of the table and won it by 12 points or whatever it was last campaign. They've just is all this rumour, speculation, uncertainty going to resurface after this story, do you reckon, Ali?
Well, I just think, why would you give yourself a little bit of a headache? If I'm a Manchester City fan, first thing I say is, well, that's great, but I'm going to do me a favour. I'm going to win us the Champions League, you know. and I know he wants that, as the City fans do, as much as anything ever before. But I don't know. I really don't know why you would give yourself not a massive problem, but give yourself a headache. But just commit yourself to the club you're at. And see out your contract. And when people ask you questions, just go. Something I don't know what the future will hold for me. I'll have to wait and see. Just toe the party line rather than give yourself a little bit of a headache.
Does it affect you if you're a player in the dressing room, if you know that the person who's at the top of the organisation, and someone as iconic as Pep Guardiola carries a lot more weight than maybe
depends
many
who's
of the coaches
coming in.
that you might well have been working for?
Depends.
Who
I think any player
Pep Guardiola?
Well, don't know, but any player who would be going there would realise, but he's going to be out of contract in a year, would be thinking. His agent will be asking the question, who's going to be replacing him? Because they always have someone in line, don't they? They kind of know what's going to be happening. It's like with Klopp. When Klopp comes to the end of the contract, do they think we'll stay at Liverpool or do they think he'll go? They'll have someone in mind who they want to replace him, won't they?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So they know exactly what they're doing.
Well, Manchester City have always had this idea of sort of like looking further ahead. What's the next managerial appointment? What's this? What's that? I mean, Brendan Rodgers was apparently on their list when we didn't know whether Pep was going to sign a new contract. I mean, he would be a perfect fit for that. I think
they'll have an idea who they want in 2 years' time. I know it can change all the time, but as the management group, you've always got to be looking for the next manager.
100%, Goffey. 100%. Yeah. You're not doing your job if you don't. You've got to be ready for, every eventuality. That's just doing your due diligence and doing your business affairs correctly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to. You don't have to come out and say, exactly who you've got in mind, because that would just unsettle people. But you have to prepare, as I said, for every eventuality.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.